राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन 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 यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुनातीरवनचारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जाना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जाना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदनं व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी यमुना तीर वनचारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गौ प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपद परम प्रजगाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद श्री अभय चरणानंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नाम आचार्य श्री ठाकुर हरिदास की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा देवी की जय। यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी रानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ISKCON विधि संस्थापक आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गौ प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishne Swadhamopagate Dhanamajnanadibhisah Kalau Nashtadrisham Esha Puranarko Dhunodita. This is Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 3. Text is number 13. This chapter is entitled Gajendra's Prayers of Surrender. 8.3.13. Please repeat. Kshetrajnaya Namaha Tubhyam Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine Purushaya Atmamulaya Mula Prakataye Namaha Kshetrajnaya Namastubhyam Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine Purushayatmamulaya Mula Prakataye Namaha Kshetrajnaya Namastubhyam Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine Purushayatmamulaya Mula Prakataye Namaha Kshetrajnaya Namastubhyam Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine Purushayatmamulaya Mula Prakataye Namaha. Kshetrajnaya Namastubhyam Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine Purushaya Namah Mula Prakataye Namaha. Kshetrajnaya Namastubhyam. Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine. Purushayatma Mulaya. Mula Prakataye Namaha. Kshetrajnaya Namastubhyam. Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine. Purushayatma Mulaya. Mula Prakataye Namaha. Ladies. Kshetrajnaya Namastubhyam. Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine. Purushayatma Mulaya. Mula Prakataye Namaha. Naya Namastubhyam. Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine. Purushayatma Mulaya. Mula Prakataye Namaha. Kshetrajnaya, unto the one who knows everything of the external body. Namaha, I offer my respectful obeisances. Tubhyam, unto you. Sarva, everything. Adhyakshaya, who are superintending, managing. Sakshine, who are the witness. Paramatma, or Antaryami. Purushaya, the Supreme Person. Atmamulaya, who are the original source of everything. Mula Prakataye, unto the Purusha Avatara, the origin of Prakriti and Pradhan. Namaha, I offer my respectful obeisances. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the Super Soul, the superintendent of everything, the witness of all that occurs. You are the Supreme Person, the origin of material nature and of the total material energy. You are also the owner of the material body. Therefore, you are the Supreme Complete. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Let's repeat this. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the Super Soul, superintendent of everything, and the witness of all that occurs. You are the Supreme Person, the origin of material nature and of the total material energy. You are also the owner of the material body. Therefore, you are the Supreme Complete. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita 13.3, the Lord says, Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. O sign of Bharat, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. Every one of us is thinking, I am this body, or this is my body. But actually the truth is different. Our bodies are given to us by the Supreme Proprietor. The living entity, who is also kshetrajna, or the knower of the body, is not the body's only proprietor. The actual proprietor of the body is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Kshetrajna. For example, we may rent and occupy a house, but actually the owner of the house is the landlord. Similarly, we may be allotted a certain type of body as a facility with which to enjoy this material world. But the actual proprietor of the body is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is called Sarvadhyaksha because everything in the material world works under his supervision. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.10, wherein the Lord says, Mayadhyakshena prakatihi suyate sacharacharam. This material nature, working under my direction, O son of Kunti, is producing all moving and non-moving beings. From Prakriti, or material nature, come so many varieties of living entities, including aquatics, plants, trees, insects, birds, animals, human beings, and demigods. Prakriti is the mother, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the father. Aham bija pradah pita. Prakriti can give us material bodies, but as spirit souls, we are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Mama eva amsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha. The living entity, being part and parcel of God, is not a product of this material world. Therefore, the Lord is described in this verse as Atma Mula, the original source of everything. He is the seed of all existences, Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam. In Bhagavad Gita 14.4, the Lord says, Sarvayoneshu Kaunteya Murtayaha Sambhavanti Yaha Tasam Brahmamahadyonir Aham Bija Pradah Pita. It should be understood that all living entities and all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving Father. Plants, trees, insects, aquatics, demigods, beasts, birds, and all other living entities are sons or parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. But because they are struggling with different mentalities, they have been given different types of bodies. Manahashashtani indriyani prakritistani karshati. Thus they have become sons of Prakriti, or material nature, which is impregnated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Every living entity in this material world is struggling for existence, and the only salvation or relief from the cycle of birth and death in the evolutionary process is full surrender. This is indicated by the word Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Om Agnanatimanantasya Gnananjana Shilakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kshetrajnaya Namastubhyam Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine Purushayatmamulaya Mula Prakatiye Namaha. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the super soul, the superintendent of everything, and the witness of all that occurs. You are the supreme person, the origin of material nature and of the total material energy. You are also the owner of the material body. Therefore, you are the supreme complete. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Gajendra is continuing his prayers to the Lord. And according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the next 4 verses are describing the Lord's form as, anyone guessed? Paramatma, very good. If we go back, we can see that previous verses more or less are talking in an impersonal way. That is to say, they're addressing the Brahman feature of the Absolute Truth. And if we jump ahead, we'll find that after 4 verses, in 5 verses we can say, then he begins to speak about Bhagavan. But it's important to understand all these features. Sridhar Swami, commenting on this verse, says, Sakshina iti sarvadhyakshatvepi nirvikaratva. Even though we're talking about the Lord in his feature that controls everything, that can only be a person. A superintendent necessarily has to be a person. Still, nirvikaratva muktam, it's stated in more or less impersonal terms. Yogi Vedyantaryami Rupatvam Aha. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. And he begins, Kshetrajneti Chaturbhihi, these 4 verses beginning with Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna. So, the Lord knows both of our bodies. What are our 2 bodies? The gross material body, the subtle material body. If we're attentive readers of the 10th canto, we can find that when the sons of Kuvera offered their obeisances to Lord Damodar, they addressed him as Sarvakshetra Vikara Vit. Sarvakshetra Vikara Vit. Sarvakshetra means all the bodies, and Vikara means, anybody know? Change, transformation. He knows everything that we're going through. He knows everything that we've gone through. He knows every transformation that we will take in the future. Think about when you were 5 years old. You had a very different psychology at that time. Is it real? Is it more real than you are now? How do you know who you really are? Similarly, if we live to be that old, if we're 90 years old, we think in very different ways. The mentality changes according to the body. It's ironic because the body changes according to the mentality also. Why do we have to go look in the mirror and just see who are you? What are you? What is this body that you're in? How did it come about? What created the kind of personality that you are, the kind of physical features that you have? What causes all these things? It's the mentality. So psychologists argue ad infinitum about nature and nurture. This we can call maybe Sangha and Sanskara in Sanskrit. Sangat sanjayate kama, Krishna says. Our association is what determines the desires that we develop. Whoever you hang out with or whatever you hang out with, this is going to develop what you want. And what we want, it can't sit idle. We have to eventually act on what we want because the mind has these functions, no? Thinking, feeling, and then deciding. So when we decide about what we've thought about based on what we associated with, then we plant a seed. That's called bija. And this is, or karma bija. And the seed fructifies. When the seed is planted but not yet fructified, that's one kind of aprarabdha karma. And when the seed has fructified but not sprouted yet, that's another kind of prarabdha karma. And when the seed has sprouted but not yet borne fruit, that's a third kind of aprarabdha karma. Aprarabdha karma means karma it's in place. It's going to transform. It just hasn't manifested itself yet. We don't know very much about our aprarabdha karmas. Prarabdha karma, on the other hand, is that karma that has already manifested or will manifest in this life. You can know your prarabdha karma if you know a good Jyotish astrologer. You can understand what's on the agenda for this life. You can know what's coming. That much you can know. In fact, if you see a very good astrologer, you can even figure out what's happened in the past. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. Why? Astrologers don't know what's going to happen in the future. That future means in your next lives. Why? Huh? Because it depends on you. It depends on what choices you make, what actions you perform, what mentality you develop. Who can determine these things? It depends on the free will. We have that much free will. Anyway, so Sakshi means the witness of all these things. There are 6 ways that Gajendra is glorifying the Lord here. Let's count them. He's first of all Kshetrajna. Secondly, he is Sarvadhyaksha. And then he's Sakshi. Then he's Purusha. Then he's Atmamula. And finally, he's Mula Prakriti. These 6 ways this is why Sridhar Swami says that he's talking about the Lord in impersonal terms. So, all these terms, they're actually describing the Paramatma feature, and we know from Bhagavad Gita what are the 2 functions, major functions that Krishna mentions there of the Paramatma. Anybody remember? What does Paramatma do? Old people don't answer. This is for the young ones. Okay, nobody's answering, and he's very eager, so Mukunda can answer. That's right. Upadrashta. He's a witness. And? He facilitates or he gives permission. Anumanta. Somebody who gives you anumati. Permission. That's Paramatma. So you can, if you want, you can do anything that you want. He'll give you permission. It's not that evil exists in the world because God is evil. And it's not that evil doesn't exist in the world either. Sometimes these kind of new agey people, they like to, everything is good, everything is very, cosmic and wonderful, but it's not. There's a lot of hellish people and sinful and demoniac things going on in this world, but he permits that. Anumanta. Why? Why does he permit such things? Because he doesn't interfere with the free will of the living entities, but he also doesn't allow somebody else's free will to harm someone who doesn't deserve that. That's how expert he is. He puts people together in such relationships that nobody gets except that what is coming to him or her. This is his brilliance. So, Atmanam Kshetrajnana Mula. That is to say, he's the root of all the conscious living beings, of all those jivas who are conscious of only of their own bodies. He's actually their mula, their root. That is to say, mulasya pradhanasyapi prakataye udbhavahetave, Sridhar Swami says. And he is also the root cause of either the material nature, that is to say, Maya, or of pradhan, the material elements, before that nature has even come into existence. Let's look at Srila Prabhupada's translation for a moment. Srila Prabhupada said a few things here. He's the origin of material nature and of the total material energy. That he's speaking from the commentary of Sridhar Swami in adding this to his translation. He also says that the Lord is the supreme complete. Which one of these words means the supreme complete? Does anyone see it? Is it Kshetrajna? Is it Sarvadhyaksha? Is it Sakshi? Is it Purusha? Is it Atma Mula, or is it Mula Prakriti? Those are your only 6 choices. None of those words means the supreme complete. So where is Prabhupada getting this from? Someone may have this doubt. It's an important question to know. Sridhar Swami in his commentary is quoting from the Shruti mantras. He quotes 3 references from the Vedas. And he says, why is he Mula Prakriti or Atma Mula? Why is he the cause of material nature? Tatra hetuhu purushaya puravameva sate. Because he was there before everything else. Tatasha Shruti, just as the Shruti says, Purvamevaham ihasam. That's one. That means I was here before everything else. This the Lord says himself in the Shruti mantra. Tat purushasya purushatvam iti. That's another one. He says he is the personality of personality. And purnaya iti va. He is the supreme complete. So Prabhupada is not making this up out of whole cloth. It's actually coming from Sridhar Swami, who says, this is what the verse means. This is the logic. So, just thought I'd throw that in there, because sometimes people wonder. They say that Srila Prabhupada's translations are this long, and the verse is only this long. So where is it coming from? Generally, if you know, and if you can read it, you can trace out anything that Prabhupada says anywhere to its original source, somewhere in the Vedic literatures or from the predecessor acharyas. So you can argue with the Vedic literatures, and you can argue with the predecessor acharyas if you wish, but you cannot accuse Srila Prabhupada of just making things up. Okay, so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, all of them are saying pretty much the same thing. Atmanam Jivanam Mulayangshine. He is the Atma Mula because he's the Amshi. We're all Amshas. Do you know about this? There's 2 kinds of Amshas. What are they? Swamsha and Vibhinnamsha. The Swamsha means the Lord and his own expansions, and Vibhinnangsha means the separated expansions. That's the Jivas. That's us. So we're called, technically we can be called Amshas, but the Lord is Amshi because he's the source of all the Amshas. That's the idea here. So that's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. Now he also finally, Mula Prakriti. Mula Prakriti means the root of material nature. In exactly the same way he says that we can say Rajadanta. Or another way to look at it is sometimes we say Pada Padma. What does Pada Padma mean? Pada Padma. Sri Guru Pada Padma, no? Nobody knows. We know Charana Padma, correct? Pada Padma is another way of saying it. It's just inverted. We can speak like this in Sanskrit, it's okay. Okay, so these are some things. Viraraghava has also said a few things here. He's just, basically all the acharyas are glossing the words. Now why are we going through all this data? Because now we're equipped to see how Srila Prabhupada has approached this subject matter. What he's saying that is his own addition to the predecessor acharyas, and what he's just paraphrasing them. We've already pointed out where does this idea of the supreme complete come from. Let's look at what Prabhupada says here. First of all, he quotes from Bhagavad Gita 5 times. And 2 out of those 5 verses that he quotes in his purport, he quotes twice. So it's very important. What are the things that he's talking about? First of all, Sarvakshetreshu, Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. Krishna tells Arjuna, in all the kshetras, in all the bodies, I'm the knower. And Prabhupada adds his own insight into this matter. All of us are thinking, I'm this body, or this is my body, but actually these bodies are given to us. Who gives us these bodies? Krishna. He may work through his agents, like material nature, but he is the real Kshetrajna, the supreme Kshetrajna. Prabhupada gives this wonderful analogy. Just like when you rent an apartment, you know your apartment basically, but sometimes if something goes wrong in your apartment, you don't know what to do about it. You call the landlord because he knows it's his apartment. This is Krishna. He knows everything about how our bodies are working. We don't know. We can't feel our fingernails growing. We can't even see them grow. We can only after some time see that they're different than they were. You see? We're not conscious of it very much, actually. The yogis try to correct this by practicing yoga very strictly, those who practice real yoga, that is. When they do shavasana, everybody knows what that is, corpse pose. You lie still, and what are you supposed to be doing when you do that? You're not supposed to be sleeping. You're supposed to be consciously meditating on each and every function of your body. It's almost like reverse engineering. trying to detach yourself from the body by becoming extremely conscious of its every subtlety. That's what the yogis are doing when they're practicing Hatha Yoga. So the Lord is already in that position. He doesn't have to practice yoga to become conscious of everything that his body does, or everything that his mind does. That's even more subtle. We don't even know what we want, what to speak of how our minds and intelligence are working. We don't even know gross things like our own desires. Anyway, so that's Kshetrajna. And he's like the proprietor, therefore Prabhupada said he's the actual proprietor. Hrishikesha, that's why he's called Hrishikesha. He's the one actually controls our senses. Even if you set your alarm clock, unless he makes your senses work, you're not going to hear a thing. You see? In the Smriti Shastra, there's a nice prayer. My dear Lord, thank you for waking me up this morning. Prata prabodhito Vishnu, Hrishikeshena yatvaya. I've been woken up by you because you actually own these senses. They're working only by your power. Just as he's the personality of our personality. And similarly, I think it's the Keno Upanishad says, he's actually the power in our senses. Our eyes work because of his power. Our ears work because of his power. He's invested us, so to speak. Therefore, mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate. This prakriti is working under his direction, every minute aspect of it. Therefore, he's called sarvadhyaksha. He's the superintendent of everything. Sakshi, witness. We've already discussed this. Upadrashta. Actually, one of the Viragavacharya says, what does it mean? Sakshine sarvadrashte. He sees everything. In the 6th canto, we've heard about 13 witnesses who watch everything that we're doing. Don't think you can get away with it. Everything is observed. And if not by someone else, actually there are others observing this. And I'm not talking about security cams or, cell phones that trace your every movement. You know about this? How cell phones work? Especially the CD feature that some people use? They basically listen in on all your conversations, even conversations that are not involving your telephone. If your telephone is on, and if it's in your proximity, it's recording your conversations. Zurur. You should know that. The proof is that in Hyderabad, Srimurti had a problem with some skin rash for some days. And we were discussing it. So we went to a doctor to see about it. No problem. The doctor gave some medicine. It was helping. Then after some time, we started noticing these pop-up ads on the cell phone saying, having trouble with a skin rash? Call this number. See this doctor. They're listening. The internet also works the same way. So the Lord is even better than that. He's even better than that because he's in your heart. He's sitting right next to you in the heart, watching everything. Just like the Upanishads give the example of 2 birds on the same branch. He knows your thoughts. Marnama ki baat, the most hidden thing that nobody understands except for you, that he knows. This is his position because he's upadrashta, sarvadrashta. So sakshi means that. Purusha. Purusha means he's the supreme personality of God. Different people say different things about it. Viragavacharya says, Purusha, anta pravishya niyantra. He's the one who has entered within and is controlling you from within. How is he controlling? Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. He'll give you bewilderment, he'll give you intelligence, he'll give you directions as you wish. Sridhar Swami says, Purusha, because he was existing beforehand, therefore he's the supreme person. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also. He doesn't explicitly gloss this term Purusha, but it's implicit. Okay, so Atmamula we've already described. He's the origin of all, Prabhupada says, or the original source of the self, because we're expanded from him, at least theoretically. And Mula Prakriti, he's the source of Pradhan, the source of material nature. Why do we have to know these things? Because basically we're atheistic. Not exactly atheistic, we don't necessarily deny God, but we're ignorant of God. We're not conscious. And the reason we're not conscious of God is because we don't want to be conscious of God. He gets in the way sometimes. You see? This is why our consciousness is covered over and we lose sight of how the Lord is sitting within the heart, monitoring our every movement, giving us intelligence, witnessing everything, how he's the source of material nature. We would rather have it that this material nature is simply existing for us to enjoy and that it's automatic, there's nobody in control. Because as soon as there's a controller or an adhyaksha, that means you're accountable, you're answerable, you have to reciprocate somehow. We don't want to do that. This is the problem. So that's why we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have 2 diseases. They're called bhukti and mukti. Another way to put these 2 diseases is karma and gyan. We want to exploit the Lord's things, or even we want to exploit his parts and parcels, or even when we're sahajiyas, we want to exploit him directly. Either way, we want to exploit, you see. And when we create a mess out of that endeavor and have karmic reactions, or at least a frustration of dry gyan, then we turn to some non-devotional mode of liberation, whether it's real or imagined. We can try to meditate on the impersonal, but avoiding devotional service. That's what the impersonalists do. We can deny that there is a personality of Godhead, which is what the Mayavadis do. And we can deny that there's anything spiritual, which is what the Buddhists do. These are all three modes of escapism, which is called Gyan or Mukti. These are our options, apart from devotional service. And Gyan, of course, has subdivisions. Karma also has subdivisions. There's pious karma, there's impious karma, and punya papa, like that. But basically, any kind of endeavor to exploit the Lord's property apart from Him is godless. And that's why we're here, because our hearts are full of the infected desire to compete with Him in these ways. So we can memorize the Srimad Bhagavatam, but if our hearts remain infected, then all we can do with that knowledge is exploit other people or try to escape from Krishna still. It won't really help us spiritually. So the chanting is the whole thing. Chanting is everything. Cheto Darapanam Arshanam, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. And by this chanting we have Param Vijaya. What does Param Vijaya mean? Supreme victory. Or we conquer the supreme. Param also means the supreme. So what is that Param? Raghupati Upadhyaya, a Tirupati Pandit from 500 years ago or so, he came to visit Vallabhacharya near Prayag when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happened to be visiting there also. And the first thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him was, please tell us something about Krishna. What did he say? Does anyone know? He said, Shrutam apare smritam itare bharatamanye bhajanto bhavabhitaha aham ihanandam vande yasyalande param brahma. What does that mean? Some people are worshipping only the Shruti mantras. They're very strict. They don't even accept the Veda, the Puranas or the Smriti Shastras. Only Shruti. Other people are smartas. Smarta means the persons who very strictly follow the Smriti regulations. That's another approach. And other people are absorbed in Mahabharata. They may be fearing from material existence. They want to get liberated, whatever has motivated them. As we said, it's either karma or gyan, invariably. But he says, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to worship Nanda Maharaj. Why? Because in his courtyard, this Param Brahma is crawling around and playing. Who is the Param Brahma crawling around and playing in Nanda's courtyard? Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's Param. So Param Vijaya, if you want to conquer him, you do it in this yuga through chanting this holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That wipes out our heart disease. Heart disease meaning this infected desire for karma and gyan. So all these aspects of the Lord, whether as Paramatma or Bhagavan or Brahman even, they're actually all important for purifying our intelligence. That's why we have these descriptions here. Because our intelligence is absorbed in the postulation that I'm the Lord, that everything is happening by chance, that there's such a thing as anything that's apart from God. Actually, there is no such thing. There's nothing that's secular. Everything is religious. But we don't want to see that. This is the problem, because the hearts are infected. So this chanting of the Hare Krishna is the main thing. And when we chant Hare Krishna, then we get these realizations. Think about Gajendra's position when he's saying these 6 things. For us, it looks like dry scholarship. We're taking apart the grammar and looking at all the word meanings and the Acharya's commentaries. But this was a reality for Gajendra. He was making heartfelt prayers of something that he was realizing firsthand. Why was he realizing these things? How can he think to offer these prayers? Do we offer prayers like this? No. We say, can I have a new car? I'm really suffering. Right? Can you send me a spouse? I need some money. Can I get a job? These are the things that are our concerns. Gajendra's on a very high level of advancement. We know from his previous life. So later on, these prayers, they only become more and more, they're very, very deep. His realizations are so deep and wonderful. If we try to enter into the spirit of his prayers, or for that matter, anyone else's prayers, that is what the Srimad Bhagavatam intends, for us to purify our intellect and our minds as well. But the main thing is chanting, so therefore we encourage always. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. I'm going to stop here, but if anybody has any questions or comments, we can talk about them. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. In this prayer of Gajendra to Paramatma, in Prabhupada's translation, in Srila Prabhupada's translation, Gajendra starts the prayer by saying, I beg to offer my obeisances unto you. And then he finishes the prayer by saying, I offer my obeisances unto you. Could you explain why this is so?
No. I don't know. It's not explicit in the verse. It's not explicit in the commentaries. It's something that Prabhupada has stated. I think he's being polite, when I beg, I beg to offer my obeisances unto you. The word namaha is here. Actually, the word namaha appears twice. That we can say. So he says it twice in the translation because the word actually does appear twice in the purport. But I think that Prabhupada is kind of, he's taking some liberty in his translation by adding a polite qualifier to this word in the beginning. I don't know of any significance beyond that. Is that okay?
Could I ask a question about?
Yeah.
Is it possible that, like Paramatma is the observer and permitter, is it possible that we even need the permission to even offer our obeisances?
Well, in some sense, yes. In another sense, no. No, because it's within us. It's intrinsic. The Krishna consciousness is already there. Nitya Siddha, Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabhanai. It's not something that you can get from an outside source or need to ask from anyone else. But we're not in touch with that nature of ours. We think we're completely identified with something that is extrinsic to us. And for that reason, in order to extricate our consciousness from our illusion, we need blessings. Therefore, we can ask like this. That's what I would say. Is that okay? Everything depends on mercy. All of our advancement depends on mercy. Okay? Prabhuji, microphone on hai.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I was wondering, in the beginning of the class, you mentioned that the previous prayers of Gajendra, he was focusing more on the Brahman feature, and now he's starting to focus on the Paramatma feature, and later he gets more into the Bhagavan feature. So I was just trying to find out why he goes to this process, thinking that Gajendra, obviously his prayers are devotional. I mean, his mood is devotional, and also by the progression you can sense that he had a personal conception. He was praying to the Lord, and have that relationship. And obviously he was awakened to that through the ordeal. But why going to the gradual, sort of realization or approach to this different aspect of the personality of Godhead and not going directly to the Bhagavan feature?
I wouldn't emphasize that too much. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has said that these 4 verses are dealing with the Paramatma feature. I looked behind and I looked ahead and noticed this myself. It's not something I've read in the commentaries, so I wouldn't emphasize it too much. I mentioned it just because I noticed it. That said, it's natural that when we think about anything, we think about things that are connected with that thing. So if he's viewing the Lord here as Kshetrajna and Sarvadhyaksha and Sakshi, etc., all these different aspects of the Lord, it's natural that he's going to think about other functions of the Lord in this way. That's what I can say about it. Is that okay? Hopefully that's satisfactory. I don't really have a very authoritative answer for that. Anything else? So then we can. One last thing I should add here is that Gajendra is traumatized. He's praying in intense anxiety. And, it's good to think about this because when we're in trauma, we don't really think so clearly as he's thinking here. It's very important. But we can take shelter of his prayers because if you're not going through difficulty now, you will, rest assured. If you are going through difficulty now, then you can understand that Gajendra is empathetic. He's gone through this as well. Suffering is a very helpful thing sometimes for our spiritual life. It's never very comfortable, but it's often very enriching. But we have to know how to take it. And Gajendra's example here shows what he was able to do. And he wasn't even fully Krishna conscious. His Krishna consciousness was foggy because it was coming on the basis of his samskars from his past activities in devotional service. Srila Prabhupada quotes, it doesn't quote, he mentions in one of his purports in this passage that Gajendra was previously as Indradyumna worshipping the Lord with various stotras and mantras. And Prabhupada said it's a very good idea that we chant certain stotras and mantras every day because those will be in our subtle body even after death. They will remain there. They're imprinted. The word samskara means samskarana, imprintation. In India, when we publish a book, it's called, samskarana, printing. It's like it's printed on our mind, whatever we do, especially if it's very, very pious or very, very sinful. These things are intense, and they make a stronger impression on the mind. Impression means samskara. So that samskara will not go away very soon. It stains our psychology, so to speak. And we carry that with us into the next life. That's what Gajendra did. Even though he wasn't sure who the Supreme was, and he prayed in a very general way, therefore the Lord came in a very general form as Hari, the Manvantara avatara. Still, he had some Krishna consciousness that was left over from the imprint that was placed in his mind in the last life. This is why we should come every day to the temple and chant Namaste Narasimhaya Prahladadhadayine Hiranyakashipurvaksha Shilatankana Kaliye, and so on. These things will stay with us. So even when he's in a foggy condition of consciousness, even when he's physically exhausted, even when he's mentally traumatized, and you can guess, maybe near death even, he had the presence of mind, because of his past activities in devotional service, to think like this and offer these wonderful prayers. It's kind of like when we read the 10th Canto, 14th chapter commentaries by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. We have to put that in context and understand what was his physical condition at the time that he wrote these purports. And then we can appreciate how transcendental he was. So was Gajendra. And we can advance to that point. It's just a question of practice. I just wanted to add that final comment. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.